This woman writes, first date, did I F up? Woman writing the post, she's 20. She says, I went on a first date with a guy who's 21. It seemed to go really well. I felt like we both had a good time. We talked for hours nonstop. Time went by quickly. During near the end of the date, he tried to kiss me and I swerved. We both made a few jokes about it and carried on for another hour. Okay, does he try again? The next day, no, he doesn't. The next day, he messaged me to see if I got home. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, my perspective, honestly, even if you have a good conversation and she like swerves away from a kiss, I'm probably just not going to reach out to that woman again. And if she was interested enough, she'll reach out to me. But it's like she really didn't display a high level of interest as far as like romantic. Maybe the two of you got along good as friends, but I'm not looking for a friendship thing. So the next day he messages her, and me personally, I wouldn't do that. Well, one, for even if it went well, even if I did get a kiss and everything went textbook, I wouldn't message her the very next day because it's like, well, it doesn't allow that space for her to kind of go over the date, to wonder about you, for that mystery to grow. When she's wondering about you and your feelings are a little bit unclear and you still have that little sense of mystery and she has to work to figure you out, that's an opportunity for her attraction to grow towards you and also to almost like recharge that excitement for the next time you see each other. Space really is important. And right now, this guy's not giving it to her. But also, it's like, well, what has gone on in this context? If you want to visualize it, it's like, okay, they had a good date, but then when he goes for the kiss, she swerves and backs off. So what is she doing? Exactly that. She's backing off. Now, the very next day, now he's pursuing. And so now we're already seeing a pattern of this pursuit and backing off. And so, me personally, why I said earlier, where she would, if she basically denied a kiss, it's like I wouldn't do anything and I'd back off because of that dynamic. If you visualize it, she backed off. I'm going to basically just hold still or back off myself. And then it's like I have to basically recreate that attraction dynamic where she now has to come to me. And so it's like, well, it's just a process like that. And you can easily visualize it by just doing like, where's this headed? Just kind of pendulum hand motions. And it really is like that. And it relates to negotiation as well. And that's why relationships are a lot like negotiation, because it is, in a sense, like, oh, who's chasing who. And it's not like, oh, I always have to be the one who backs off or whatever. It's like sometimes you do, for the purpose of making her feel like she's cared for. You do pursue her once in a while, but that's usually like later down the line, or you're initiating some kind of date or initiating some kind of outcome or finding some kind of information, having a purpose when you reach out. And that purpose could be to, hey, I was thinking about you, which would be the purpose and the outcome of making her feel like, you care for her. But usually you don't have to worry about those kinds of things like her, well, I'll exit that one because it does. Sometimes it's just like, well, you don't necessarily want to get caught up in that like pursuit. Oh, I was thinking about you in those beginning stages. Sometimes it's good to just kind of take it slower, compared to, when you're in a later stage and maybe she feels like you're too distant. So you do something like once or twice a week, you give her some message like that. But let's continue on. We exchanged a few more messages, and then he left me on red and hasn't reached out to go on another date. Okay. Is this just a simple play of he's just not into you? Well, you kind of denied him, really. You're not really going for a kiss, and I don't know what you said in those texts. And take it as an L. Yeah, I mean, you didn't kiss the guy, and he backed off. I've just seen too much sex in the city, so I want to make him wait/play hard to get. Well, you're trying to game him out, but he's backing off. So it's like, well, it's like, okay, yeah, I guess you can play those games. But as somebody that knew what they were doing, it's like they would never reach out to you again, probably. Because it's just like, if they reach out, it just ruins the negotiation dynamic because she's backing off. And even if time passes, it's like, if he reaches out again, he's still chasing, you know? So it's like, but maybe he took me dodging the kiss as me being not interested. Yeah, that's how I'd interpret it. Um, you know, and maybe you actually were interested, and maybe you're just like a little afraid in that moment. Maybe he made a move that wasn't like an ideal moment or situation, or she wasn't giving him the signals that basically invited him to make a move or kiss her. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'd say. I mean, I'd say that he picked up on that signal. He felt like you weren't totally into it, or it's like you got denied. He got denied, and so he's like, well, you know what? I'm not going to really commit to putting a bunch of energy. And sometimes that's actually a mature thing to do. That it's like, well, when it's not working out, you just back off instead of you feeling like, oh, it didn't work out for me, so now I have to basically take a bunch of action and pursue her to a point where it's just like way too much. Um, so yeah. The key takeaway probably with this one is really the push and pull, and understanding that, and just looking at her actions versus your actions. And is she pulling away, or is she kind of pushing forward or staying still? It's like, where is she at and where are you at? What kind of actions are leading which way? So you can get the fundamentals for free that I offer in the description below. And then also my more specific products that you can get on that same link.